Ta'ala wants us to be aware. Because when we are aware, our paradigm will shift, our paradigm of thinking. Because everything becomes a part of you, becomes you. And you become part of it. And then you treat it differently. You're conscious of it, you're grateful for it. You see the abundance and you see the unity. So you become like the Prophet Muhammad والسلام, with the essence of mercy. Mercy for men, actually for the whole world. You know, Prophet Muhammad, it is said that he used to decline on a tree when he speaks to the people. And eventually some made for him like a platform or something to sit on it and talk to people. So when he was going away from the tree that is used to his touch and his presence, the tree cried. And people heard it, and the Prophet ﷺ heard it. So he went and he pat on it and he said, "You will forever be with me in the eternal life. Would that satisfy you?" And the branch calmed. The Prophet used to say about the mountain, one of the mountains that surrounded Mecca where he lived, he would say, "We love this mountain." We can all say that. We love this tree, we love this mountain. But he also said the mountain loves us. This is where the consciousness shifts. The mountain loves you too. Because it's from Allah. And it is created, everything is actually created for the human being. Because again, if the stars are not in the locations, if the solar system did not form, if everything is serving you. The earth takes the energy from the sun takes it from another galaxy, and another galaxy from another galaxy. So everything is connected that way, and for you to exist in this world and to have this experience right now, are you aware of that? Are you aware that Allah subjected for you everything in the heaven and the earth? He says that in the Quran. وَسَخَّرَ لَكُم مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Everything is subjected to serve you, to serve your existence in this body. So, if we're aware of that, it's magnificent, it's abundant, it's just marvelous. And you're grateful. You're grateful for Allah. And you start to see that the mountain loves you too. Because if it is not there, you're not there. The mountains serve us, they give us the minerals. It's in our service. It gives us the minerals that make our body, part of our body, so it is our body. And the mountain protects us from storms. If earthquakes happen and the mountain will not erect, the earth will continue to wobble, as the Quran says. But because it erects like that, it stabilizes the earth. That energy makes the mountain erect. So everything is made to serve your life here in this world, in this moment. Are you aware of that? Or you're living in the past? Or you're living in a future that you don't know yet? Or are you just in the fleeting pleasure, and when it goes, there is emptiness inside you? Are you aware that Allah made everything in the universe to serve your existence? This abundance is for you here. And it's a trace of His love, of His sustenance, of His protection, of all of His beautiful qualities. It's a trace of His patience. Because again, we pollute things all the time, but it doesn't react right away. The earth recycles all of what we do, give us beautiful produce. So all the beautiful divine qualities manifest to your eyes. That is when you extend or stretch your sensation. Then you see the signs of Allah and His beautiful quality manifesting through this marvelous physical existence. It's a trace of His beautiful qualities. And then you become aware of Allah. It is here to help you aware of the sustainer. It is here to help you to become aware of the loving, Al-Wadud, Al-Razzaq. It is here to help you be aware of the patient. It's here to help you aware of the merciful, of the creator, of all the beautiful qualities that belong to Allah. It is here as a trace to show you, I am with you. And when you have this awareness, you love everything back, can't you? Like as I just wrote this verse. For a long time, I watch it is in some Sufi heritage that they kiss everything, like when they enter the home, even if it is empty. They say Assalamu alaikum and they kiss the wall. The Prophet kissed the black stone. And they kiss their sibha after they do the remembrance. Did I say it correctly? Remembrance. It's okay. So, as this, all of a sudden I became aware, or you feel it. Why they kiss everything? Because it's Allah showing love to him through these things. It's like you have a loved ones who traveled far away and you see his picture, you kiss him, you kiss it or her. You see their clothes and you kiss it. Everything belongs to Allah, as we just said. So for the Majnoon, like I wrote this one, like for the Majnoon means the one who lost mind. For the one who is Majnoon in the love of Allah, feeling this abundance, every stone becomes a black stone. And he kisses this wall and kisses this wall. He sees the stars as kisses from Allah's love. Because without these stars, that is delightful to your eye and sustain your very existence, you want to be. It's a sign of His love to make you exist, to make you delighted, to make you have this fleeting moment of pleasure that always come in different forms. It is a sign of His love, of His presence. And how can you touch Allah? He's beyond form and space. He gave you a form, a holy form, a trace of His creativity. You can kiss it as His trace. You can kiss it as from Him, from my beloved, who sustains me. And when I'm hungry, He feeds me, as Prophet Ibrahim said. When I'm thirsty, He waters me. And when I am sick, He's the one who heals me. Sometimes we think we're the healers. But no, we have like a small scratch. Allah made the body. He's the healer. He created the system that way. He gave us something to do. Because through that doing, we know Him more in a profound way. We become His representative. Like everything else in the universe. Our dilemma is everything in the universe does not have the free will we have. So it is this freedom to think as we want, to feel as we want, to do what we want. It is this freedom that creates our dilemma. Because for a lion, he knows his boundaries. He has no choice to go and try maybe to eat vegetables or to do something else. Everything has something fixed for it. It is served, it is cherished, it is sustained, it is protected. For the limited time it has to be in this world. But it has its boundaries, limitation. So we think, because we're giving free will, that we have no boundaries. We form this illusion, but we do have boundaries like everything else. And these boundaries is to also serve us, to awaken us. In a way, there is part of us that is bounded, or limited, but in a way we're vessels of infinity as well. We're boundless. Because through us, Allah brings new creativity. He inspires us to create things. For example, cellular phones so we can talk to one another from far away and all of that. So He continued to give us these gifts. So, but the free will is like a blessing and could be a curse at the same time. If we don't know our bound, if we're not aware that it is from Allah, and we take it in a selfish way, without recognizing that we are all part of one body. So, for example, and it all has a selfish motive. You know, maybe in the past we read these stories that some people say, stories in the Quran or the Bible or so, and people say it's folk tales. But today we can see it's real, because it has to do also with the human motives and the ignorance, unawareness of that unity we talked about, of Allah's boundaries, of Allah, to take the guidance from Him. We think we are independent on our own, we can do anything without knowing Allah, without receiving knowledge from Him and guidance from Him. So, for example, in China, some business was booming, construction. So they went and cut a lot of forests, because everyone wants to make benefit for themselves, money, you know. And there was a lot of poor people living on this natural way. They just fish from the river, they plant, they take the fruits from the trees, they take only the amount of logs from fallen tree that they can heat something with it and things like that. So they were more in harmony with nature, just sustaining themselves. But when greed came and money and wealth came, they did that, and what happened is that changed the climate, and it dried the whole river, the Yellow River was all dry. In another, I think in Uzbekistan, a similar thing happened for another type of business, I don't remember what now. Business boomed. Yeah, I think they wanted to plant cotton, and it became a booming economy means, so they overdid it to the degree that a whole river also, or a body of water, is drying up now. 80% of it has gone. That affects the species. The species, instead of 120 species was living around that area, only 40 are living in it. The rest either migrated or, I don't know, some of them endangered and so forth. So there is this chain of action, because we are one body. There is this chain of reactions. Once you do something, that affects that, and that affects that, and that affects that, the whole Earth could collapse, and then the whole universe. So, as it says, don't think of yourself as just a tiny microcosm, because within you, the whole macrocosm, the whole universe. So your action matter, your intentions then matter, your motive matter. This is where religion comes. People say, why it tells us do and don't, we want to be free. Okay, be free, but face the consequences of your freedom. If you have no knowledge, you can't live free, because that freedom can destroy you, can destroy many others' innocent life, and you will be held responsible. So, with that stretch of perception, even the physical sensation we're talking about, even this physical sensation, to feel you're rubbing against everything. There is no vacuum. We think here there is a space between us, but in truth there isn't. We're very connected with the air. I'm talking now just on the physical body, on the physical sense, you know. So if you stretch this perception, that's why, like, Gnostic, knower, sense, and they go and they sit in nature, or that made them feel that stretches their perception. That's why we need to take time to retreat. We usually now retreat inside spaces to do our prayer, but actually it is part of the Islamic tradition is to go and do Eid prayer in nature. Do you think that is just a rule that has no meaning? Or it is aimed to raise our perception? It is aimed to make us aware of Allah's gifts, of Allah's presence, of Allah's guidance, to have knowledge of what is around us. Otherwise, we're walking like blinded. We're not having any perception of the reality as it is. This is the reality as it is, but we're not aware of it. So this, many of the Islamic rules are connected to nature. The lunar calendar, there is, for example, there is a lot we don't know, and I'm trying to learn. I don't have much. This is a continuous life journey to learn. That is why Prophet Muhammad himself, ﷺ, said to Allah, increase me in knowledge. So you see, like, it is connected. Like it is said, if you want to do the cupping, the hijama, do it when the moon is there, is full moon. There is the 3 days in the middle of the lunar months, and Siti had told us there, it's also known to the people who have this knowledge, that it is preferable to do it that way. Why? Because, the moon affects tide, the tide phenomena, and this phenomena affects some species. It probably affects us too, in a way, if we are very asleep and very blinded, that we're just dissuaded with everything. But we are made to be the representative of Allah. We are made to be aware. We're giving this capacity, but we're not using it. So if we are aware, then this knowledge comes. That's why many of the rituals are related also to nature and timed by nature, like the Fajr prayers, noon prayer, Zohr, and so forth. So we need to learn how to stretch our perception. So for example, let us do some exercises. And you will see how it is connected now to your imagination as well. But we will talk about that in a separate session. But for now, even to stretch that perception of ours, even for a tiny bit, to make us aware of things, just close your eyes and bring to the eye of your inner perception a flower. It's a red flower, it's a beautiful flower. Now smell it. I'll give you a few minutes to try to smell it. Bismillah, subhanallah. If you have not tried this before, you may not be able to right away to smell it. But many might be able to smell it. If you want a stronger smell, maybe imagine an orange. And try to smell it. If you're able to see it and to smell it, isn't that an extension of your perception? The flower is not here right now. Do you have flowers? You have one flower here. What? An orange. It is not present in the physical now, but you can still see it. You can still smell it if you meditate, for a while. You can grasp that smell. And this is called induced. So it brings your memory of it. But sometimes when you are with Allah, this perception is giving as a gift for you. You know, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ used to say that Allah, don't fast as much as I fast, because Allah feeds me while I'm fasting and He waters me. He makes him not thirsty. He makes him, in a mystical way, full. There is a lot to that statement, but if you think about it deeply, we think we're seeing the object. But what are we seeing? This is actually perplexed philosophers and scientists alike. Because the light comes on you, for example, if I'm looking at you, it is the light that's coming, light reflects back to my camera here, retina, and when light comes there, then it changes the chemistry and becomes chemicals, and it becomes electromagnetic signal that goes to the brain, and the brain perceives. So what is it that I'm perceiving? Where is that you? Is it chemicals? Is it electromagnetic signal? Like what you're seeing is seeing inside you. It is all like some change. There is something in you that sees. If the person is dead, you know what I'm trying to say? It's your consciousness. It is your soul that makes you see. So when your perception stretches beyond that just fleeting, physical, sensual, in the daily life we live, then there is a lot of realization that comes, and this realization comes that of the spiritual. It comes with a consciousness that is Allah is making you to see through the spirit, the living spirit He's giving you. And just the physical aspect is to help us see what is dense, condensed here. But everything is subtle actually, in reality, has the subtle soul that you are actually grasping. Like what is this redness you see in a flower? You know, it perplexed scientists and philosophers. It's a frequency, so how that translates to red? You know, there is no link between them. That beauty you see, there is no link. It's just you're perceiving the very soul. Everything has a soul. Like Ibn Arabi saying, everything has its life, degree of consciousness. Everything has a soul. He said there is nothing dead. Everything is alive, but at different degree of life. Different limited perception. Maybe the perception of, Any other creature is not like your perception. They even see differently. The honeybees sees more than you. There are some creatures that sees only black and white. There are creatures who sees very microscopic things, like the butterflies and most of the insects, because that is their surroundings. They need that for survival. So Allah gives them what they need. So they can only see the petals, things you can't see by your naked eye. So they can go and have their food. So, and that's out of His mercy. Sometimes you say, why can't we just have given all the answers? We can hear all the sound. Imagine if you can hear all the sounds. Can you bear it? It will become overwhelming. It has to be subtle, so you can start to grasp things. It's for mercy. Mercy for you. Imagine if you can see all of a sudden everything. It will become overwhelming. You will be seeing now the viruses and the bacteria that are flying all around us and in us, on us. You will be overwhelmed. So Allah, out of His mercy, make you see things and makes you not see things, or hear things or no. But whatever He's giving you is enough for you. And the way you are stretching it is that you can understand more. Sometimes He allows you to invent tools, so you can see the microbes and study them and, things like that. But to stretch our perception, whether by tools or by just contemplation, meditation, a dhikr, when we stretch our perception with all of these tools that Allah guided us to, then we see the marvelous universe. We're not anymore in our cocoon, kind of, that we keep ourselves into, and we get sucked by it. We have to break it and see the abundance that Allah given us. So we can see Allah through seeing His traces, through seeing His ayat, His signs. Because He's speaking to you all the time through these signs. But we're not aware, so we're either blind, and the very few things we see, it is like gibberish language. The first revelation of the Quran that came through Angel Jibreel to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he said, read. Usually we think of reading the Quran, so we learn Arabic. That's good and great because it will open you too. But I'm saying there is a different kind of reading. To read the signs. These are ayat too. The Quran are ayat, which means traces of Allah, speech, and then there is the ayat of the universe. It is also talking to you, but it's gibberish language. If you don't know how to read, you're illiterate. And so we have to increase in knowledge so we can read the signs. And people in the past used to read some of the signs better than us. When they travel, they read the sign of the stars. In the desert, they read the sign. They didn't have compass or GPS, which you become very relied on now. The technology, It's good and it's a blessing. But it also maybe isolates us a little bit from our perception of the world. They used to, there is people still until today, the people who are living simple life, they may know better than us. I was reading this article about an oil company or so, they send to search for oil in Egypt, desert. Area nobody goes in, but the Bedouin go. So they tried, there was no oil at that point, they left. They had digged until water came, but they left it unused. What happened is that it evaporated in the heat of the desert, became salt, became harmful. We can't plant with it, we can't do anything with it. So a journalist went to actually wanted to see this and wrote that report. So for a journalist individual to reach this digged place and see it and take picture of it, they needed a navigator. So they had their GPS and navigation, they know the oil locations from the GPS and these tools. But they had also a guide from the Bedouin. Many times she said the signal will go away or it will tell us something wrong. But the Bedouin always know how to see where is the water is. And he will know his way in the desert, in the wild desert, until he led her to the, the unused, what you call it, well or so, that they digged. And she took a picture of it. But he was relying on the science. He can read the map. Not the map, which it's a good tool, because it helps us when we lose this perception. But there are people who have this perception, and they can go around and on their own, they read the live map, not the map that we read. We lost it. We lost this ability to be in harmony with nature and to read nature.